Hey guys, it's Ms. Z, and I am going to talk to you today about X-ray value drawing. We've already been talking a little bit about value and how value in art can add form to our creations and how it adds depth, and it also can add drama. We talked about chiaroscuro, which is a dramatic way of using value. So I wanted us to do something kind of special, and I thought, what could be more dramatic in terms of value than an X-ray? If we look, I have a a printout of an X-ray right here. You can see this is, I believe this is like the knee. And so what you're going to be doing is you're going to be identifying value within this drawing, and you're going to be recreating it on black paper. So you're going to need an X-ray drawing, and I have a bunch that we're going to look at. You're going to need black paper. The black paper you use will be bigger. I just have small paper for my demonstration. And you're going to need a white colored pencil, and that's it. The first step is you just want to get the general sketch, the outline or the contour line of your X-ray drawing. So I'm just going to kind of do a real quick little sketch here. I'm going to notice that it's right here and right here, so I want to kind of match that up on my paper. Trying to do it so you can see. Here we go. And I'm going to kind of come down. And I'm not drawing real dark, as you can see. And the reason is then that way if I make a mistake, it's just no big thing for me to correct. If you draw light, it will still erase a little bit. And I have nice pink erasers for us to use. Okay? So, all right, that's kind of the general part of my drawing, all right? And so the first thing I want you to do is, it's usually easiest if you identify the parts of your drawing that have to be totally white. In this case, it's pretty easy. If you can see, there's a little bit of a glare on my photo, but not too much. You can see right in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just kind of outline that area on my drawing. And then I'll color it the darkest white that I can. Okay, as you can see, I went ahead and I said the darkest whites, that's probably not a very good term, but the brightest lights that I could. And so now I'm gonna go for the next down, so one step down from the very, very brightest, the second brightest. I'm gonna go and identify those areas, and I'm gonna color them in. One of the things you're gonna notice about a project like this is that you want things to be very precise. So you're probably gonna wanna keep a pretty nice tip on your white colored pencil, and that's why I have enough colored pencils for you guys each to have two. So you don't have to constantly be getting up to sharpen your pencil. You should have one that's sharp. So let me go ahead and I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm not quite finished with my second brightest whites, but I wanted to show you a quick trick. You know when you color, sometimes you get those streaks with your lines. An easy way to avoid that with colored pencils is, instead of going just back and forth, so back and forth, color in a circle. Okay, so see the difference? Back and forth, and then I color in a circle. So here's what happens when I color in a circle. I don't get those weird streaky areas, so that it looks a little bit better. Okay, so let me just finish this one little area right here. And so now you're going to go for the third brightest. And this isn't a perfect science, right? You're probably already noticing that you're like, well, I really wouldn't have called that the second brightest. I would have called it that. You know, that's what makes art different. That's what makes your art different than mine, is that we see things a little bit differently, okay? So I want you to go ahead and find the third area, and then I want you to color that part. So I'm going to try that out, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I got my third lightest area now, and I'm kind of noticing a problem in my drawing, and that is when I originally sketched out my bone shapes, I have a kind of straight line right here that isn't really noticeable in my original. So an easy way to fix that is you just kind of get your eraser, and I call it talking to the artwork. You can just sort of carefully move it around. It's not going to be perfect, guys, but it'll help. And if you see, it kind of took that line away, and now it looks a little bit more like my original, okay? And so the next thing that you're going to do now is you're going to go and you're going to kind of find the fourth brightest areas, okay? And again, what's fourth, what's third, right? It's all kind of your opinion, but to me the fourth brightest is this area right here, and this would have been where the flesh of this person's body was. So this is probably like the back of their knee and their calf right here. And so that's the part I'm going to do next. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll show it to you. As you can see, I went ahead and I did the calf area, this kind of the area where the flesh would be, and I call that whisper coloring, because you're barely skimming the surface of the paper to leave a little bit of white. And if it makes you happier, if you don't like how there's some streaks in here, the oil from your finger will help smear things around, and sometimes you can actually use the side of an eraser, and it'll kind of smear things together a little bit. That's an excellent way to do it too. You have to be aware that with the eraser, you can see it erased a little bit, so it'll do that. And then the next thing you're going to do is all these little wispy areas. If you see, I'm going to kind of bring the picture closer. If you can see, there we go. Right here around the bottom, there's like these weird wispy areas. And that's just kind of what an x-ray does, but that's what makes an x-ray kind of cool and kind of special, is it sort of lets you know you're seeing inside something. You're sort of seeing something that you shouldn't be able to see. So I want you to make sure you take your colored pencil and you get those areas too. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you what it looks like on my paper. Okay, so now I've kind of done all of that stuff, and now this is the final step. A lot of times people will bring something to me like this and they'll say, I'm finished. And I would say, you need to refine, okay? And so that's the final step to any drawing. And if you think about it like making a cupcake, you can bake a cupcake, and then you can put icing on it, and that's fine, right? A cupcake with icing is really good. But what if you take the cupcake with icing and then you put sprinkles on it? And it kind of takes it to this extra awesome place. So refining is when you take your drawing from the okay place to the extra special place, and that's what we're always shooting for in this class. So I'm going to take a few more minutes here, take it to an extra special place, and then I'm going to show it to you. Hey guys, here I am. I'm all finished. I've refined, so I've added the sprinkles, and that's my finished product. Let me show you again what the original was. So there's the original, and there's my finished product. And it's not perfect, and you don't have to worry about that. Here's what we're trying to do. We're trying to learn about value. We're not trying to draw a perfect x-ray to teach somebody in medical school. So the only people who are really going to know it's not perfect are maybe medical doctors, and they're not here, so we're not going to worry about it. We're just trying to learn how to do the value, the different lights and the different darks. And here's some of the things I identified to refine it, so to add the sprinkles to my cupcakes, okay? I looked and I said, well, were there other bright whites that maybe I missed? Were there other areas that didn't look quite right? And I noticed that this area kind of needed a little work, and I probably could keep working that now that I'm sitting here looking at it while I'm talking to you. I think that kind of makes it look a little bit better, okay? So things like that, little tiny nitpicky things. And the final thing that you get to do is I want you to find a nice little area where there's not a lot of value at all, and I want you to give it your signature. Different artists have different types of signatures. I will tell you, good artists never sign their name huge, okay? So you don't want it to be too big. I like my initials, AZ, so A, Z, that's how I always sign my artwork. Maybe you have a special way. So that's it, guys. That's all there is to the x-ray value drawing. I'm going to get out the drawings. You get to pick your own, and we're going to go from there.